Okay, it is 6:30, and I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Fillmore City Council. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we have our Pledge of Allegiance, so I will ask Councilmember Garnica to lead us in the pledge. Okay, thank you very much. Next, we'll have our roll call.
Councilmember Brogy. Mayor Pro Tem Mendez.
Here.
Mayor Villaseñor.
Here.
Councilmember Garnica.
Present.
Okay, thank you very much. And just for all those who maybe have not heard, our former council member Luis Rodriguez is going to be moving out of state. So we are going to discuss this a little further on the agenda for our next council member. Okay, next on our agenda are presentations, and our first presentation this evening is for the Community Spirit Award presentation. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I skipped something. It is the approval of the agenda. And actually, before we do move to approve, I do have a request to move up 2 items. I'd like to move our 2 business items, 9G, invitation for membership to Clean Power Alliance, and 9H, the joint 1-year agreement with Santa Paula and Ventura County for the Spirit of Santa Paula, up to the top of our business agenda. That is my requested amendment to the agenda. Okay. That'll be my motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, a reminder to make sure we all have our microphones on to catch the vote. Okay, I believe that motion passed. Okay, so we will move that in the agenda. Thank you. Thank you, Albert. Okay, next is our presentations, and our first one is the Community Spirit Award presentation to Marileni Manso Zambrano, who is our Señorita Fiestas Patrias 2025. Thank you, Marileni. Come on up to the front. I have a few things to say. You can stand right here in front, and I'll be right down. So it is, and I'm going to say these in Spanish as well. Voy a también hablar en español. It's my honor to present the City of Fillmore Community Spirit Recognition Award to Marileni Manso Zambrano, the winner of the 2025 Señorita Fiestas Patrias. Es mi honor presentar de la ciudad de Fillmore la reconocido del espíritu de comunidad para Marileni Manso Zambrano, la ganadora de 2025 Señorita Fiestas Patrias. Marileni is the first Fillmore resident in modern times to compete in this countywide cultural pageant and the first to bring home the title to our city. Marileni is el primer residente en este tiempo a competir en este cultural pageant y la primera para llevar este premio a nuestra ciudad. She represented her family's home state of Michoacán and was crowned by the Mexican consul Ricardo Santana Velázquez. So ella representó el estado de su familia de Michoacán, México, y fue coronado por el cónsul Ricardo Santana Velázquez. Marileni is a 2025 graduate of Fillmore High School and a first-year student at Ventura College. Ella graduó de la prepa aquí en Fillmore y es una estudiante al colegio en Ventura. And she is studying plant science, está estudiando las ciencias de plantas. She has received scholarships from several organizations. Ella ha recibido unas becas de diferentes organizaciones. This includes the West Coast Cultural Arts Nonprofit, One Step a la Vez, and the Fillmore Women's Service Club. And she has received these for outstanding academic and community accomplishments. Ella ha recibido esas becas por su gran habilidad en academia y también en la comunidad. As Señorita Fiestas Patrias, Marileni will proudly represent Fillmore and Ventura County at cultural events and celebrations that honor and strengthen cultural pride. Como Señorita Fiestas Patrias, Marileni va a representar Fillmore y el Condado de Ventura en eventos culturales y también celebraciones que va honor y esfuerzo a nuestro orgullo de nuestra cultura mexicano y latino. And joining her today are her proud parents, Adrián Manso and Esperanza Zambrano. Y aquí estoy con ella, sus padres muy orgullosos, Adrián Manso y Esperanza Zambrano. Marileni, on behalf of the City of Fillmore, it's my privilege to present to you the Community Spirit Award. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is what the award says. The City of Fillmore Community Spirit Recognition Award presented to Marileni Manso Zambrano in recognition of your outstanding achievements, community pride, and representation of the City of Fillmore as the winner of the 2025 Señorita Fiestas Patrias competition. Presented this 14th day of October, 2025 by myself, the Mayor of Fillmore. Okay, here you go. Congratulations. Yes, and also I'll say those words again in Spanish, that el premio de reconocimiento al espíritu comunitario de la ciudad de Fillmore, otorgado en reconocimiento a sus logros sobresalientes, orgullo comunitario y representación de la ciudad de Fillmore como ganadora del concurso Señorita Fiestas Patrias 2025. Okay, gracias. Also, I shared with Marileni and with our council, and I wanted to share too with the city, we'll have to maybe post it up, that we have a very long and rich history of Fiestas Patrias in Fillmore. And this is a photo from 1935 of the Queen and her court of the Fiestas Patrias. And so from even, nearly over 100 years ago, there's been mutual aid societies that bring together Mexican culture, Latino culture here in California, Ventura County. So you are part of a long history and tradition. Congratulations. Okay. All right, our next presentation now will be the Ventura County Transportation Commission presenting on their short-range transit plan. So thank you, Ms. Claire Grasty, the Director of Public Transit for the Transportation Commission.
Thank you so much, Council, for having me here. And so, again, my name is Claire Grasty with VCTC, and I came a couple of months ago to talk about the Ventura County Short Range Transit Plan. This plan is for throughout the entire county, but we focused on the Valley Express service here and at the Santa Paula Council as well. I went over some details about the routes. I'm here really just to say that we're now into the outreach portion of this project. There was outreach in the beginning portion as well, but now we are wanting feedback on these proposals. So you can see on our, this is on the right, a screenshot of our website page. You can find this at valleyexpressbus.org/SRTP-Valley-Express, but it'll pop up if you just go to valleyexpressbus.org. So on this website, you can see that there is a link in the top right to the larger SRTP project that is countywide. We want to kind of keep it really focused on the Valley Express on this web page to make it easier for everyone. There's a presentation, a link to the presentation that I presented back in, I believe it was July. So there's an overview of the project at large, those links as well, and then you'll see down below there are these route details that you can see here. And on the page you can scroll down below. They have a map that has like bus stops on it specifically. So that was helpful, I think, for everyone to get a little more detail. That was specifically discussed at the Santa Paula council meeting as well. So I also just want to note that we'll be doing outreach for this project. The one locally here will be on October 23rd at the Fillmore Active Adult Center from 6 p.m. till 7:30. We will also have a virtual outreach event as well. The date yet to come, but likely will be in early November. Then there'll also be one in Camarillo later. So of course anyone can attend, anyone in the county, and we'll take comments from anywhere. You take comments through the website, calling us, social media, however people want to provide comments, we'll take it. But I wanted to highlight this website in particular, and also this outreach event as well. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Claire. Do we have any questions from council? No questions. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right,
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, that concludes our presentations. And now we go on to public comments, but these are general public comments for items that are not on the agenda as another item. So I'm looking here and believe these are all for business items. Is there anyone in public to speak in general public comment? Okay. Seeing none, then we'll move on to our next item, which is our city council reports, recommendations, comments, everything, commission reports, board reports. So I'll turn it over to my fellow council members for any updates. Okay, yes, John.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go first. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. So I attended the Fillmore Piru Basin Groundwater Sustainability Agency meeting. That was about 2 weeks ago. Not a whole lot to report from that meeting. Basically, we're having a summit this Thursday in Oxnard, where they're going to do a more in-depth presentation about the long-term plan, especially with regard to the renovations or the updates that they're going to do to the Piru Dam to make sure that it's structurally sound, regardless of the size of the, well, I won't say regardless, but to take into account the majority of foreseeable rainfall that we would anticipate in the future years. Because currently, current modeling is showing that there's a slight chance that it may not, if there's a very large catastrophic rain event, that the spillway could possibly fail. So that's going to be one of the main topics of concern at that meeting. I also attended the Joint Powers Insurance Authority, so Fillmore's part of this joint insurance authority where we participate with many other cities in California, basically to provide insurance for the cities. And the reason I attended this was in La Costa, down south near San Diego, was to listen to Tracy Parker, who's a Los Angeles city council person, and her area covers the Palisades area, and she was specifically speaking about the responses of both the city government, her staff, as well as the emergency operations center that was activated And I just wanted to go myself to hear what some of the lessons were that were learned during that event, because obviously it's something that's, we want to make sure that we're prepared for. So I did attend that. That was about 2 weeks ago. And then last week, most of the city council attended the League of California Cities conference in Long Beach. That was Wednesday through Friday. I, in particular, tried to attend the safety and fire, anything related to safety and fire preparedness, again, with the idea that we need to be prepared for that. And I want to make sure that I'm well educated about what the lessons learned were. In addition, I also listened to a presentation on, I guess there's license plate readers, which I believe we already have, but the particular system they were talking about allowed interagency sharing of that information to allow for rapid response to a major crime event, so that they can hopefully track any potential suspects. So those were the three main topics and main meetings that I attended, and that's it for me.
Very good. Thank you, John. Okay, any other?
I also attended the League of California Cities conference this past last week, and also today was the Air Pollution Control Board district meeting, which is held at the Ventura County Government Center, and we just got updates on the Carl Moyer program, which is a program that allows residents of Ventura County to turn in their old gas equipment and for newer equipment that is more friendly for our environment and mostly like electric equipment. So that's all I have to report.
All right, thank you. Yes, Carrie.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was under the weather last week and could not join all of my colleagues up here at the League of California Cities Conference in Long Beach. It's such a great time and very worthwhile going, so I'm glad everyone else was able to go. And aside from that, I just wanted to, a reminder that my twice monthly porch talk is scheduled for tomorrow night, and all constituents, community members are all welcome. And again, it starts at 6 o'clock, literally on my front porch. And we run, it's supposed to be till 8, but we end up going probably till about 9 or so. We get a little yakety, but it's been great fun. We've been doing this now since January. So all year long, twice a month, and it's been working out really great. So if you're inclined and free tomorrow evening, please join me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I do also have a couple of updates. So last Monday here in City Hall, the city sponsored a wildfire safety sort of community update meeting that was sponsored by Southern California Edison, and its goal was really to sort of update us on the public safety power shutoffs and the work that Edison has been doing to harden the wires, to prepare, to better communicate, to better partner with cities when these PS events are likely to take place, and really to try to get the residents knowledgeable about them and prepared for them as much as they can in advance of what we know are sometimes very spur of the moment changes in our weather and our wind. But they really are working hard at it. I wanted to bring up also at this meeting a couple of things that I really pressed Edison on were the segmentation of lines, and they are working to try to further segment the sort of like the, I guess call them like sort of the power switch on and offs, because I've noted to Edison that it seems our east side of town, particularly El Dorado mobile home estates and homes that are sort of, I want to say on the east side of Mountain View, right, are connected to the east, going east of town to Hopper Canyon and Piru, and I was really pleased to hear from them that they were they know about it, and they're willing to actually delve in deep into that and report back on what they can do about trying to improve that segmentation. So, and again, that would mean hopefully that if neighboring homes in the Bridges areas or just on the other side of Mountain View have power, it can mean that El Dorado and the other homes nearby have power. So follow up on that. I also, another interesting note on that one is I inquired about the updated CAL FIRE maps, which we've talked about here on council, and there's information on them on our website that really seem to include a lot of the city as a high fire risk and kind of leaving out only like a small triangle in the middle of town. And I said, well, if one of the factors for more of these public safety power shutoffs are going to be, I think it's like 3 different things, you know, of course, the temperature, the wind, I might be wrong on the temperature, but, and one of them being, are you in a high fire risk zone? So the response was interesting that Southern California Edison has their own version of the high fire risk maps that are not quite, they're similar, but they're not quite CAL FIREs. So I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. So more information to come on that. And I just think we need to it was very good to have that communication and really encourage us to, and to work with Edison and to maybe, you know, continue to have these kind of community updates every so often. Yes, Carrie.
Before we move on, I just wanted to also add that I'm just really thrilled that we have our city manager back, first council meeting back. So we're excited to, you know, have you back and hit the ground running, and we've missed you. Manny's done a great job, but it's nice having you back, so thank you.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. Thank you for pointing that. Yes, we are all in agreement.
Maybe question about that meeting.
Sure.
Was CAL FIRE present at that meeting, or was it only SCE that was present at that meeting?
In looking at Manny, I think CAL FIRE was not present in the room. No. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Right. Yeah. County Fire, City of Fillmore Fire, Edison. I'm trying to think if there was a couple other stakeholder groups. Ventura County Fire Safe Council, also another. Okay. And the meeting is recorded and is available. I think. Yeah. Okay. I'll try to move along here in my other updates. Let's see. Okay. League of Cities was great. You always want to go to more than, at the same time that one session is happening, another one you want to go to is also happening. So I'm glad that we're able to actually look back at the slides, and we actually tried to, I think, go to a few different ones. So that was good. Let's see here. I wanted to make an announcement about this Thursday, October 16th. And I might take away the thunder from our city manager, but I just want to announce right now, the City of Fillmore invites you to an Immigration Resources Forum this Thursday, October 16th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. here at City Hall. The program will be entirely in Spanish with interpretation available for translation from Spanish to English. Families are welcome, and there will be presentations from an immigration attorney, Vanessa Frank, resources from Friends of Field Workers, United Farm Workers, Mixteco Indígena Community Organizing Project, Poder Popular, 211, Ventura County. So these are all great resources for our community, particularly for our immigrant community. And so the city is proud to have these. Just wanted to say it in Spanish as well. La ciudad de Fillmore lo invita al Foro de Recursos de Inmigración este jueves 16 de octubre de las 6 de la tarde a las 8:30 aquí en el ayuntamiento. El programa se llevará a cabo completamente en español con servicios de interpretación disponibles para traducción del español al inglés. Todas las familias son bienvenidas. Es gratis. Vamos a tener unos refrigerios y las presentaciones incluyen un taller de Conozca sus derechos con la abogada de inmigración, recursos de Friends of Field Workers, United Farm Workers, Mixteco Indígena Proyecto, Poder Popular y 211. No se pierde esta oportunidad de conectarse con organizaciones de confianza y conocer recursos importantes para nuestra comunidad. Gracias. And I think that's it for my announcements. Okay, thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is our consent calendar. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, I have a first. Do I have a second? I have a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, quick comment on that.
Yes.
So I did note that there were quite a few notice of completions on that, and I think it's important that we get credit, that the city get credit for the work that is being done. There are several important projects in that are listed there for completion. And I just want to make sure that we're doing something to make sure that the constituents know that, hey, these things that are on the list are things that we've done and completed, so.
Good point to highlight.
Thank you, Councilmember Garnica. We actually had a conversation about that this morning, so we will be getting pictures, highlight that on social
Awesome.
media, and we'll be working with our management analysts to make sure that we're promoting that.
Great.
Yes, excellent point. Thank you, John. Okay, that moves us now next to our business items. All right, okay, and per our amended agenda, we will begin with, we are moving now to the first one, formerly 9G, which is the invitation for membership with the Clean Power Alliance, Joint Powers Authority.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Manuel Menjares, Assistant City Manager. I'm bringing this item to you as a result of the direction that the City Council gave to staff at their May 27th meeting. And at that meeting, staff sought direction on whether the city should participate in a feasibility study to explore potential membership in the Clean Power Alliance and to request authorization for a $10,000 general fund transfer to cover the study's cost. And this city council meeting was a follow-up to a previous council conversation on CPA membership at the April 22nd meeting. And we also had a member, representative from Southern California Edison, provide a presentation, as you recall. And staff voted to go ahead and fund that study. So on September 4th, Clean Power Alliance Board of Directors approved a resolution inviting the city to become a member of the CPA's Joint Power Authority. The CPA prepared an impact study, and it's attached to this report as Exhibit B, called the Fillmore Impact Study. And they analyzed the potential financial and environmental impacts to the CPA if Fillmore were to join, under a range of rate scenarios and different preferred energy options. The options that they do offer are what are called lean power, which is 40% clean energy, clean power, which would be at 50% clean energy, or at 100% green power, as it's referred to. And I did provide a summary of the study's findings, and those findings were found to be favorable, and so they did recommend approval. And so what I have next is some options for the city. If the city decides to move forward with membership or not. If the city decides to move forward with pursuing CPA membership, there are several deadlines that need to be kept in mind so that electricity service to customers could begin in 2027. The city would need to adopt the ordinance that's attached to this item, and that would implement community choice aggregation within the city's jurisdiction and approving the CPA Joint Powers Agreement by November 30th. So if that isn't done today, it could be brought back to a future meeting, either the second meeting in October or the first meeting, the only meeting that we have in November. So we have 2 more opportunities to do this if we don't decide to do that today. And so if we were to do that by the November 30th deadline, the CPA Board of Directors would be able to conduct their public hearing during its December 4th, 2025 meeting. And at that meeting, they would be considering to approve an implementation plan addendum to add Fillmore to their joint powers agreement. And then they would need to submit the addendum to the CPUC, that's the California Public Utilities Commission, by December 31st of this year. And that would start the ball rolling to make the city eligible for service, CPA service in 2027. Next, we want to talk a little bit more about the energy options. The council could decide to move forward with deciding which energy option it wanted to default customers into. If the city council does indeed decide to move forward with joining the CPA. As I had mentioned, there's a lean power option where this would provide 40% clean energy. And typically, based off of the analysis that's been done, this rate is going to be slightly less than Southern California Edison's default rate. And so this is that's the clean power option. Clean power is often seen to be at similar or slightly less than Southern California Edison's default rate. Or the other option is if council wanted to default into 100% clean power, meaning 100% of the energy produced would be from clean energy sources. That would be more expensive than SCE's default rate. And so a little bit more on this decision. City Council doesn't need to make this decision now. If the council decides that it wants to pursue membership, you can go ahead and make that decision without choosing the preferred energy option right now. That can be done in 2026 at a future council meeting. Just want to give you that information. The CPA, the Clean Power Alliance, they don't advocate for one particular energy option over another. So they're not going to tell us, yeah, city default into 100% clean power, or they're not going to ask us to make that decision. They're going to leave that in your hands. What they do prefer is that the city council elect to automatically enroll Fillmore customers at the start of CPA service. So what that would entail, what that would mean is, depending on what energy option the city council would choose to enter into, that all residents within the city of Fillmore would be entered into that automatically. And at that time, the residents would be receive notice, and they can decide to change that at any time. And let's see here. And staff is recommending that the city council select lean power as a default energy option for customers, and this option will provide 40% of electricity from clean energy sources while maintaining customer rates at or below their current rates that they're paying right now. So that's one of the recommendations being made by staff. If the city council decides to move forward, I discussed the timelines for this and happy to answer any questions. We do have representatives, staff from the Clean Power Alliance, Ten Bardacki and Kristen Schmidt. Karen Schmidt. Sorry about that. Here to answer any of your questions that you might have. And so I hand it back over to council.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. All right. Does council have any particular questions right now? We also have public comments. Do we have any questions? Okay. All right. Thank you. Then at this point, I will call up our public comment. So first, I have Brooke Baltasar. Okay, welcome.
Thank
You have 3 minutes.
Awesome. Well, good evening, Fillmore City Council. My name is Brooke, and I'm the Community Organizing Manager at Climate First Replacing Oil and Gas, or CFROG. CFROG is a Ventura County-based advocacy organization leading a just transition away from fossil fuels to protect our health, economy, and our climate. I'm here today to urge the City of Fillmore to accept the invitation to join the Community Choice Energy Clean Power Alliance program. Fillmore is the only city in Ventura County that has not yet joined this program, which is one of the biggest actions a city can take to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. Being the fastest warming county in the lower U.S., Ventura County is disproportionately impacted by the devastating effects of climate change. The severity and frequency of climate disasters is projected to increase more and more each year unless we take action. But by choosing to join Clean Power Alliance, the City of Fillmore can help to mitigate these impacts of climate change by supporting the transition to clean energy. It's worth noting that according to the City of Fillmore's 2025 legislative platform, specifically items 6A, 6B, and 6E, the city has established goals around clean energy programs and efforts to provide Fillmore residents with alternative energy sources and energy savings programs. You have an opportunity today to help the city meet these legislative goals by voting to opt in to the Clean Power Alliance. Beyond this, community choice agencies like CPA reinvest profits right back into the communities that they serve. In the future, Fillmore could benefit from local programs like a resilience center, EV infrastructure, community solar, resiliency and grid management, green workforce development, and so much more. According to 2024 impact report data, CPA contracted for 769 megawatts of new battery storage capacity and 48 megawatts of new renewable energy, building the resilience of our electricity grid. By increasing grid resiliency and reliability, Fillmore would likely see a decrease in PSPS events. Moreover, these add up to $37 billion in investments to build and operate these resources and support the creation of more than 36,000 construction jobs that Fillmore residents could benefit from. With this in mind, the benefits of joining CPA become clear. The city already invested $10,000 to conduct this feasibility study, so we ask that you honor and see this investment through by choosing to accept the invitation into the program. We also urge the city to have opportunities for the community to help inform and choose which default level to move forward with. Fillmore residents should not be left out of these important and impactful programs or conversations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, our next speaker is, let's see here, Cesar Campos. Okay, welcome.
Hi, thank you. So, good afternoon, council members and fellow residents of the city. My name is Cesar Campos, and I find myself here today to urge the city of Fillmore to join the Clean Power Alliance in coalition with CFROG. As we all know, every community in the county is facing rising energy costs, aging infrastructure, and increasing climate-related challenges that only add more economic burden on its residents, and Fillmore is not the exception. The adverse panorama it represents is terrifying because I don't even know if me or the future generations can afford to live in the area in the future. I believe that joining the Clean Power Alliance, CPA, is one of the solutions Fillmore needs. One that empowers communities to negotiate better rates and services, create new employment opportunities, and ensure an equitable access to clean energy for all of the residents. I want to add that this decision can allow residents to have more freedom of choice by challenging the monopoly of so-called Edison has imposed over the region. By opting in, we gain another alternative energy provider that will reinvest their profits back into the community and give us better access to clean green energy at a similar or better rate to the current one. I understand that change can be daunting, but the risks of inaction are greater. All of the cities in Ventura County have already joined the CPA, therefore showing their commitment and awareness to ensure a better and bright future for their residents and future community members. We deserve the same in Fillmore, and I respectfully ask the City Council to vote in favor of opting in. Let's take this chance to invest in a smarter, more resilient energy future, one that reflects our values and serves the community for generations to come. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, our next speaker is Karen. And I'm sorry, Karen, I can't see your last name. Is it Lopez?
It's Lais.
Lais. Karen Lais, welcome. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff, and fellow residents. My name is Karen. I'm a longtime resident of Fillmore, and I'm also part of the Teen Center One Step Alaves. I'm here to voice our support for the city opting into the Clean Power Alliance and choosing the 100% renewable energy default for our community. This is one of the single most impactful steps our city can take to address climate change at the local levels. By making clean energy the default, we make sustainability more accessible and equitable, especially for the lower income households who might otherwise be left behind in the transition to a greener future. Fillmore already took a step forward by investing in the CPA feasibility study. Now it's time to follow through and bring the benefits home. Community choice energy doesn't just reduce emissions, it keeps energy decisions and profits local. Over time, that means more investment in things like EV infrastructure, energy resilience programs, and even green job creation right here in our community. Ventura County is already feeling the impacts of climate change more severely than other regions. We owe it to our future generations to take meaningful action now, and this is a tangible way to do that. We urge you to vote to opt into the Clean Power Alliance with the 100% renewable option as the default. Let's be part of the solution and make Fillmore a leader in clean, affordable, and community-driven energy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then our last speaker on this item, unless there's any more, is Fabiola Gomez. Okay, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and city staff. My name is Fabiola Gomez, and I am here to urge you to the same, to join the Clean Power Alliance. Supporting climate first, replacing oil and gas, also known as CFROG, who just spoke, and One Step a la Vez. One Step a la Vez youth truly care about their environment. They have invited many people to their space to learn about environmental justice issues, asking questions and learning from them. So they have truly absorbed themselves with information about environmental impacts. CFROG is also a reliable grassroots organization who truly cares about clean, accessible, and reliable energy that they have time and time again shown up for their community across the county and even state. They are both committed to advocating for energy justice. Energy justice is an important dimension of environmental justice, focuses on the fair distribution of energy resources, access, cost, and benefits, especially for historically underserved communities or climate vulnerable communities such as Fillmore. The challenges facing Fillmore, including energy affordability, clean energy access, and grid resilience, are clear examples of energy justice issues. CPA also promotes energy equity by offering 100% renewable energy to low-income customers at no additional cost, matching the current Southern California Edison rates. And CPA provides residents the freedom to opt out and stay with SCE. Through most choose to remain because the benefits are very clear. And as a Santa Paula resident, I can tell you that I haven't even noticed a difference since we changed. Even I have gotten lower the cost of energy, but having the 100% renewable energy it makes me feel good both as an advocate and as a person, knowing that I'm part of the solution that has time and time again come to our communities. And so I urge you to opt into this. Energy affordability, access to clean power, and climate resilience are not just energy policy concerns, they are energy justice issues, and therefore environmental justice priorities.
Okay, how about 30 seconds?
Joining CPA is a cost-efficient, valued-aligned, and forward-thinking step that will protect the community, support vulnerable residents, and help fulfill the city's environmental goals. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I do have one other speaker on this item, and that is Natalie Johnston.
Hi,
welcome.
Thank you. I'll keep it really short. I'm a lifelong resident of Fillmore, and just the way that I see things, we have two options. We can either allow the people of Fillmore the choice as to clean energy, the CPA, or switching back to Edison, or we can just tell them that they're going to get their energy from Edison. And I think the people of Fillmore deserve to have that choice. So I just ask you to please pass this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so that is all the speakers we have on this item. And we have, like we said, Ms. Karen Schmidt and also Ted Bernanke, who is the CEO of Clean Power Alliance, here today if we have any questions. So, council, okay, if there's no questions. Oh, yes, John.
No, I have no questions. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the invitation from the Clean Power Alliance Board of Directors to become a member of the Clean Power Alliance Joint Powers Authority.
Okay, we have a motion on an item of acceptance into Clean Power Alliance. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, we can.
Sure.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
so hold to that motion.
I've listened to so many speakers over the years on this issue, and in addition to that, I've talked to a lot of constituents throughout the county who've already moved over to CPA. And maybe it's just me, but I'm still not understanding the huge benefit in this. People that I've talked to who live in communities that have already switched over, a lot of them, I would say 90% of people I talk to have switched back. They've opted out. And then what we're looking at here is the recommendation from staff is 40%. Is that correct? And so I guess my question there is, and it indicates in our report that it would be a slight savings over what Edison's providing, and I don't know what slight means. And the other concern I have, and I've been talking to a lot of people about this, and so I have found almost maybe 3 or 4 people who even know anything about this at all. And I'm concerned, again, about the community outreach. And I know there's things that, we can plan down the road if we haven't already set things on calendar, but communicating to the public as to how this is going to come about and what it means to them. And like I said, I've been listening to people from Edison, people from the CPAs, closed-door sessions, people on the streets, and I don't have a grasp on it. So it's something that I think is going to really take the community a little off guard at this point. And maybe it's just Fillmore, I don't know, or maybe it's just me. But at this point, I would be inclined to vote no on it.
Okay. You have something to say, Annie?
Something I should have maybe mentioned in the staff report, that as part of the process, if the council were to move forward on joining the CPA, there would be an outreach campaign that CPA does. It coordinates with the city that's joining the CPA to engage the community and inform them about the transfer. And I don't know if Karen or Ted want to speak to that at all, but that is something that they were very clear on in their letter, and just wanted to offer that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Carrie, for sharing your concerns. Appreciate it. It's your perspective on this. I would just to add a little bit to the conversation is that I've heard from a lot of folks too, including other city council members from across not just Ventura County but also LA County back a couple of years ago, and I did really in-depth research into it, and also to residents not here in Fillmore but right on the outskirts of Fillmore and Bardsdale and up in Cliff Drive who have been on CPA, as well as folks in Piru, Santa Paula, etc. And I've found that folks really, really like CPA, that they have not pulled out. I think the rate is nearly somewhere in the 90s. I think it all depends on the community, but I think maybe on the low end, the low 90s, and on the high end, maybe like the mid 90s of staying with CPA once converted over. So I agree with what Manuel just said. I think there's a really robust, bilingual, appropriate rollout of outreach and understanding, community events, lots and lots of information leading up to it. And just to sort of reiterate what I think one of our last speakers said, I definitely think it's time that Fillmore residents have the choice. That's what I think this is all about, being able to choose. And if folks do want to come back and prefer Edison, or if they want to, whenever we do pick a rate, again, we do not have to pick a rate tonight, that they can choose to change their rate on CPA. So that, along with, again, I'm excited about it because I think being able to have a seat at the table to be able to consider the energy needs for our community, for our region, is really, really great. We're not at the big table when it comes to Edison, and I think it's really wonderful that we're able to be there. And that whole thing too of reinvesting, profits back into the community. There's no investors and shareholders to pay, and I think that's such a good quality. So anyway, that's my input, and I'm definitely in favor. Yes, John.
Yeah, so for me, it's pretty straightforward. I think there are two main reasons why I'm in favor of this and why I made the motion. One is that it gives people choice, and to me, that's important. And I think the other one is that, we, just being very factual here, we're not exactly we're kind of a low-income community. And so by giving people a choice, people are suffering right now. I mean, that's just the truth. And if we stay status quo, then they're going to continue to pay these continuously increasing rates that we see from Edison. Not that they won't increase if we go to Clean Power Alliance. Of course, energy production is going to be going up no matter what. But this might give them the choice that, hey, if they want to pay less, they can go with the lean power. If they want to go 100%, like we heard several people say, hey, they're willing to pay. I think the study I saw said about 5% extra to go clean power. Then they can make that choice too. So again, to me, it's very much about choice. That's my first reason. And the second one, and don't mean to be ageist here, but I'm including myself in this. Looking into the future. I mean, a lot of the people that spoke really are probably younger than 30. We're all up here probably, I would guess, over 30, being kind. And so to me, I'm voting for the youth, that this is going to affect the youth a lot longer than it's going to affect me or people at this dais. And so I prefer to do something that's going to help out the youth than just keep things status quo and not move forward. So those are my reasons for voting yes.
And I'm going to echo what Councilmember Garnica said. My number one reason for voting yes would be because of the choice. It gives us more choice. If I don't want to opt into it, I'll just opt out of it, and it's not hard. And I've been through it before in Westlake Village. It's a simple process, so that's my number one reason why I'm going to vote for yes for it.
So this question maybe goes back to Manny. In the report, it states that the 40% would be slightly less than what Edison. Can you give a ballpark on what slightly means percentage-wise?
What I've been able to gather from my research is this is approximately 1%, and it could be different. And what they do offer on their website is a calculator of sorts. If you enter in your address, it'll give you an estimate of what your typical bill would be and what kind of percentage, whether you'd be paying more or less depending on the energy option. But from what I've been able to gather, it's approximately 1% of a savings. Is that accurate? Yeah.
Thank you.
So, historically, it's been lean power has been 1 to 2% on a total bill basis, which does mean that our generation rates are even lower at a higher discount than that. But it's 1 to 2% on a total bill basis. It's currently, so we set our rates in July and set them at 2% cheaper. On October 1st, Edison raised its rates. We didn't touch our rates. So currently the lean power rate is 6% cheaper on a total bill basis, but that will change again in January when Edison changes its rates again. One of the things we try to do that we do with all of our rates is we try to set rates once a year. And I know particularly in the business community, people appreciate that we're not changing our rates all of the time. Edison will change its rates up to 4 times a year. And but Manny was right. It's been historically 1 to 2%, and that's what the board had set. What it will be in 2027, all 3 of the rates, the rate comparisons, it should be in that historical range, but we know stuff is volatile, and that's why we can't tell you exactly what it would be today. I'll say that's one of the reasons that most cities wait to decide what their preferred energy option would be until closer to the enrollment dates, because we're able to set the rates and tell you for certain what the comparison will be going in. So we do offer that option if you could tell us now, but most cities wait because they want to have more certainty, to your point, about what the rate comparison would be before they choose that option.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
So I'm just, Mayor,
Okay.
just a couple of points of clarification. So one was that I purposely did not include an option with that in mind, specifically that my motion was to join the Clean Power Alliance, but I purposely left out choosing one of the options. And then the second one was I took note of what you said about the energy generation rate could be much lower as a percentage just for generation, but when you add up all the other little fees that are mandatory, whether you go SCE or Clean Power Alliance, then it nets out to about 1%. Is that correct?
Yeah, so currently the generation rates on the bill, so there's two parts of the bill, there's delivery and there's generation. Currently, the delivery part, which everybody pays equally, is about 2/3 of the bill. It ranges between 60 and 70%. So when you're choosing a generation rate, that's somewhere between 30 and 40% of the bill. So you're right, a 2% total bill reduction equates to
Like 6%.
about a 6% discount on that generation rate. Similarly, at the more expensive rate, it goes the other direction. A 5% premium is actually on the generation rate, it's closer to 10. So, but for communication purposes, again, to what you were saying and what our outreach is, my view always has been that people don't care about their rate, they care about their bill.
Their bill, yeah.
And so we really try to talk always in our communications about total bill comparisons, not a discount or a premium on just the generation rate. It's just a organizational philosophy.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's helpful. Okay, thank you. And thank you, John, for clarifying that. And I'm very much in agreement with your motion. So why don't we repeat it and we can.
Sure. So I move that we accept the invitation from the Clean Power Alliance Board of Directors to become a member of the Clean Power Alliance Joint Powers Authority.
Okay, I have a motion.
Wait, and there is a second section, I'm sorry. Approve the first reading to introduce ordinance number 25-988, approving the joint powers agreement for the Clean Power Alliance of Southern California, and authorizing the implementation of a community choice aggregation program and adoption of an exemption from CEQA.
Okay, thank you. I'm just making sure, Tiffany, is that good with the reading the ordinance title?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Aurelia, I'm going to call for a roll call vote. Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Broggie?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendez?
Yes.
Mayor Villaseñor?
Yes.
Councilmember Garnica?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you all those who came. Our next business item that we moved up is formerly, let me get my agenda here, was formerly business item 9H, the joint one-year agreement between Fillmore, Santa Paula, Ventura County for the operational funding of the Spirit of Santa Paula Harvard Shelter. Okay, and thank you, Manuel.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. So this item comes as upon the heels of the council approving the amendment to the original 2-year agreement that took place. This took place at the June 10th meeting, and I did include a table that showed the breakdown of the council's contribution under the original contract in fiscal year 23-24 and 24-25, and then the amendment adjusted those contributions for fiscal year 24-25, and that was at the request of Santa Paula. And what happened was the city of Santa Paula was expecting to get a contribution. That didn't come through, and they had budgeted a smaller number. So the participants' contributions were adjusted accordingly. And so for this year, for 25-26, we've decided to enter into and propose a 1-year agreement as opposed to a 2-year agreement. And the breakdown is as follows. Santa Paula's contribution would be $200,000. Fillmore's contribution would be $150,000, and the county would match the combined contribution of both Santa Paula and Fillmore. And let me take a step back. For those folks watching at home, this is a consideration of a 1-year agreement between Fillmore, Santa Paula, and the County of Ventura for operational funding of the Spirit of Santa Paula Harvard Shelter. The Spirit of Santa Paula Harvard Shelter runs a emergency shelter for homeless folks in the Santa Clara River Valley, and we're looking at entering into agreement for a 3rd year with them. And to get back into the report, the first 2 years of our contribution was funded through ARPA funds. This contribution would not be made via ARPA. This would be made from our general fund, and the amount that staff is recommending was budgeted in this 25-26 fiscal year budget. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any of the council's questions. We do have Kay Wilson Bolton, who's the executive director and board member with Spirit of Santa Paula. If Kay, if you have anything to say, or if you have any questions of her, she'd be happy to answer as well.
Okay, thank you, Manny. Welcome, Kay.
Hi, good evening, Madam Mayor, and nice to see you, Carrie, and council members. I have a little presentation I'd be happy to give, unless you just want to fire away.
Okay.
Okay, no, go right ahead.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I want to comment on a portion of your remarks for the record, but I'll hold it for now. The introduction is, we are thinking of rebranding our name. It seems that Spirit of Santa Paula is just too locally focused, and so we're using the name Harvard Navigation Center. Now it's a less detractive name, I think, and more people can relate to it. We are operating at 49 beds inside the building, and we're serving 175 meals a day. We have an agreement with behavioral health to provide 8 designated beds for people who are referred to us from behavioral health. There are many moving parts to shelter operations, from intake, shelter management, food service, case management, and we operate under very stressful situations, from poor parenting skills to mental health challenges, and many who have lost hope. We currently have 2 people in wheelchairs, 1 adult in diapers, 4 cats, 4 dogs, 1 person with a sleeping disorder, and 9 children tonight. And one of them actually goes to school in Simi Valley. This is how traumatized children are and try to become adults in this complicated world we live in. They came to us, mother and son. He's 11 years old. And he came to us because she had lived in Santa Paula several years ago. And so he was living with grandparents, and they weren't happy with the situation, so they were actually on the street. And because they had a connection to Santa Paula, we took them in. He had been attending school in Simi Valley. He refuses to go to school in Santa Paula, so there's a shuttle that picks him up from Santa Paula every morning and takes him to school in Simi Valley. So that's how his day gets to start. We are the only, I have to use my glasses and I can move faster. We are the only emergency shelter in the county that takes kids and pets generally. And no one takes boys over 12, and we're learning why. Our food budget has been reduced to almost zero since we arrange for food pickups from VCMC every single day. They're unserved food. We know it's safe, we know it's healthy. The cafeteria food is much better than the patient food, but we try to mix it up. So we are hardly cooking anymore, and that helps the VCMC meet the requirements of AB 1383. They're a Tier 2 food generator, and there are laws about what they all have to do now to reduce food going into the landfill. Food is the new gold. We are working with food, it's Abound Care, that works with Feeding America, which is a national organization. They're energized with public health for waste-free Ventura County. And we're going to be the pilot program for them where they help us pick up more food, providing it safely, keeping it safe, and then redistributing it to other agencies so that their food costs can be reduced also. We know that the best way to solve homelessness is to prevent it in the first place. If we had more money for rent, utilities, and food, we would solve the problem. Our current food pantries serve over 1,000 people every week, and the food poundage is now translated actually into meals, and we collect about 100,000 pounds of food every month. Our fire insurance went from $4,500 a year to $16,000. That shelter in that industrial area is considered a high fire area now, and so we disputed it, but we lost, and our workman's comp has gone to over $50,000. We're at capacity. For 2025, our population consisted 62.5% from Santa Paula, and then 27.5% from Fillmore. And tonight we have 8, which is 16%. That number fluctuates. And so if we had no one from Fillmore tonight, you might need us tomorrow, and if you do, we're there. Data collection is probably the hardest thing that we can do, and it's the one thing that we're most responsible to provide to our funding entities. Let me tell you why it's difficult. When we do an intake, we ask, where were you homeless last night, and what city do you call home? So let me tell you about Eric. Eric was homeless in Fillmore with his family and 2 children, but they stayed for about a week with his parents in Santa Paula. When they came to us, the 2 questions were, were you homeless last night? Well, we weren't, but we're going to be today. We're in Santa Paula. What city do you call home? Well, we live in Santa Paula now, so I guess it's Santa Paula. They were actually homeless in Fillmore when they left here to go to live with parents. Then there's Carolyn William. She's 72 years old, has a PhD in music composition. He is a priest in the Syriac Orthodox Church, evicted from a place in Camarillo, stayed in their car in Fillmore for 3 nights. So, what city do you call home? Well, we're in Fillmore. Where were you homeless last night? Fillmore. And so, eligible to come to Santa Paula. So we were able to place them into the Vagabond Motel, which was recently acquired by the county. So they're going to be safe for the rest of their life. So we have a new person as the result of a kind-hearted person who lives in Fillmore. This happened last week. The kind-hearted person called and said, I have a homeless person in Fillmore, and she needs to stay at the shelter. Oh, where was she homeless last night? Well, she was in Fillmore. And so the conversation didn't go really well with this citizen from Fillmore and my staff. It went through 3 staff members to finally get the answer. So it turns out this kind-hearted person went to the riverbed in Ventura, found a woman with a cat and 2 dogs, brought her to Fillmore, and then called us to provide shelter for her. So, do you think we did? No, yes, we did. Because homeless in Fillmore. So, do you want her homeless in Fillmore? No, you don't. You want her to go to the shelter. So, that's why our data is kind of screwy. So, we are working really hard with HMIS, which is the Homeless Management Information System, required by the county. It's the worst program to work with, and everybody says it, but we wanted to provide a city of origin report for Manny, who's been working really closely with us, and we can't do it from that data because the module doesn't exist. So they're developing it so we can do that specifically. Only 2 people who have been exited And we have a couple of terms when somebody leaves us. They're exited by either being dismissed for behavior or they've been placed. So we're trying to improve our vocabulary so that it's clear what happened to them. 2 people were dismissed for failure to follow the rules, and they are now in the encampment here. So as far as we know, only 2 people have left us to come back to Fillmore, which is really a good thing. We currently have 9 people ready for placement if we had a place to put them. We have 3 who have been matched, 3 families who have been matched, and that happens every other Tuesday. We meet with the Continuum of Care and the Pathway to Homes to present our case, and that's literally what happens. We are advocates for, we have an 80-year-old grandmother with a disabled daughter at the shelter. We have a man who's in a wheelchair, and we have a family of 4. They've been matched, and so now we just need a place for them to go. So without places to go, they stay with us for much longer than they should. The ideal time is 90 days, but that's a joke. Throughout the industry, it's a joke. We have some that have been there for a couple of years, and for one reason or another, we just can't help them get income so that they can actually go somewhere. Santa Paula is building over 3,000 units in the next 3 or 4 years, and 600 of them are going to be affordable. So many of our people could actually just go right into them. We work very closely with the Housing Authority. Spirit is thinking about how we can reinvent ourselves. I don't want to go through another year like the last 2, and I want to tell you why we did not meet some of the goals that you expected us to meet. Assemblymember Bennett was crucial in putting together the MOU for all of us to operate. And we were $200,000 short. And so he said, well, Spirit's going to raise some money, and they'll give you back $100,000. We'll go to the community foundation, and we'll get $100,000 for them, and we'll fill the gap. Well, neither one of those things happened. And the reason is, when the public learned that we had this funding agreement in place, they said they don't need any more money. So really, our donors went away. Haas Foundation put their money in other amazing places, but they were a significant contributor. And the other reason that we kind of failed to keep our end of the MOU is because we were not paid by Santa Paula for 9 months. Now, I've been through this with them, and they know how strongly I feel about creating an environment for a collapse. But you deserve to know this because we can't fulfill the contract you gave us money to fulfill. We weren't paid for 9 months. We hired an our charge was hire an executive director, because I'm going to die someday, hire a grant writer, and another case manager. So we hired an executive director, a panel of 9 people vetted 12 applications, interviewed 8, selected this one. It was a disaster. He only lasted about 60 days with us. So then we hired another person who had enormous influence and passion, but not the director's skill set that we needed. But we really couldn't afford to hire that person because we were not paid for 9 months. I was ready to lose my mind over it. So finally they caught us up. We paid a lot of our bills. We were using the credit card. And then they paid us through, they skipped 4 months, paid us in February, and then they didn't pay us for another 4 months because they said they didn't have the money. Nobody can operate a business if you can't count on cash flow. So what happened was the county, the 2 cities went to the Board of Supervisors and got the MOU that the MOU that we all agreed upon reduced by $200,000. We had already spent that money. And then you take $200,000 away that you're going to pay us back. It was a very tense time, and I had a real struggle with, Manny and I had some hard discussions about it, but when the Board of Supervisors approve something, it's over. The element was, we were outside of that agreement 100%. We were the recipient. We weren't part of the MOU ever. So we had nothing to say, and we didn't even know they were doing it. So we learned, Kelly Long's office called and said, are you aware that the board just reduced your funding? And of course I wasn't, so that was another setback for us. So for the one-year agreement, we're going to work our hearts out to keep doing what we're doing to change people's lives, reduce homelessness, if not prevent it. So we're going to have to really figure out what we do in a year from now. I'd like to not be back here, quite honestly. I feel like I'm on the hot seat a little bit, but you need to know the whole story. We have started talking with many mansions and, Dignity Moves and the Housing Authority in Santa Paula. We've applied for $15 million under Prop 1. It's the Behavioral Health Continuum Infrastructure Program to build 40 tiny homes that will be in the behavioral health environment. They'll need a property manager, screening, case managers, and a lot of resources. So we might be out of the shelter business. Next year, I'm talking to Mercy House to see if there isn't a way we can coordinate efforts, combine resources, best practices, utilize staff in different ways. So get us through a year. LA spent $300,000 per homeless person trying to solve homelessness, and they haven't even begun. Yeah. Homelessness is at an all-time high right now. So, anyway, that's kind of more information than you probably wanted, but I felt like you deserved it. It's been 2 years since I addressed you, and of interest, the first time I came to you, we had 13% of our population from Fillmore. You authorized 150,000. And this year we have 27%, and we're asking just for the same amount. So hopefully you'll support us and see value in keeping people off the street.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. It shared really valuable information with us.
Thank you so much.
I know that we appreciate it, the community does. Yeah. Carrie, yes.
Okay, we have not had an opportunity to meet. I mean, I know of you, and I know the hard work that you've put into not just your real estate business, but especially with regard to what you've done for Spirit of Santa Paula. And there just aren't enough people like you working on this project, and to hear your story and hear about what's happened in the last year or so, and the difficulty in obtaining funding and dealing with the bureaucracy that's involved in that, it breaks my heart. It's, especially when you pour your heart and soul into this, and it's something that is so necessary and so needed in this community. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of your hard work and the dedication and your commitment to this huge problem that we have in not just our county, but everywhere right now. But we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It has changed me. I used to be happy. I used to have a very joyful spirit every day, but this has become such a burden. I'm not giving up. I go through this every day, but it has changed me. And sorrow can do that, as we already know. So thank you for any consideration you give us. And come visit us. It's quite a facility, and we do some really nice things there.
I think, talking to my colleagues here as a council, I think we need to do whatever we can do to lend assistance, even if it's above and beyond even contributions, whatever you need. I hope that you would come to our council and ask us.
Okay, well, I have a wonderful line with Manny and Carrie's back,
Yeah.
and she's always been supportive, so I'll definitely do that. So thanks.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you for all you do. Okay.
Breaks my heart.
Okay, thank you. So that was great to hear from Kay, and I think for all of us to hear from Kay, and for our community to hear from Kay of all of the work and the history and what happens. So
yeah, I mean, I guess it's a two-edged sword, right? It's great to hear from you about what's actually happening, but obviously sad to hear all the trials and tribulations you've been through, and what you're doing is amazing work that's really helping out the most needy in our society. So thank you again, echoing what Carrie said. It's just amazing work, and I definitely agree. We'll do anything we can to support.
And I want to echo what my fellow council members just said. Thank you for the amazing work that you're doing. And I mean, I'm just so grateful for everything that you're doing. And whatever we can do, I think we should do it.
Excellent. Well, we have a place to start right here, and that's our agenda item. So we do have recommendations. Would I entertain a motion?
Got to turn it on here. I move that we authorize the city manager to sign an agreement with the County of Ventura and the City of Santa Paula to share the cost of operations of the Spirit of Santa Paula Harvard Shelter at 1498 East Harvard Boulevard in the City of Santa Paula, and authorize the city manager to make non-monetary edits to the agreement as needed and as subject to city attorney approval to ensure conformance with the versions of the agreement approved by the City of Santa Paula and the County of Ventura Board of Supervisors.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you again. Lost my agenda. Okay. All right, we'll go back over to the top now of the new business items with 9A, our City Council discussion on the vacancy of the City Council District 1.
Can I start off?
Thank you, Mayor.
I think we have a staff report.
We have a staff report first.
So, as you're aware, City Council member Luis Rodriguez will be moving from the city of Fillmore and has resigned effective yesterday, October 13th. His council seat representing the city's District 1 will be already deemed vacant, effective today. And so staff is requesting guidance from City Council tonight on what options we should follow to be able to fill the vacancy. I want to go through the process just so that the public understands how this works, and also City Council knows what their options are. So the California Government Code states that within 60 days of such vacancy, the City Council must fill the position either by calling a special election or appointing a member of the community. For this particular case, it would be a member of the community that resides within District 1. Accordingly, the city can decide to appoint a resident, like I mentioned, but we did reach out to the Ventura County Elections Division, and the cost for calling a special election, which would take place in April of next year, would be $28,600, and this would not be included on the election of November of 2026, so it would just be for that particular time frame until the next election cycle happens. Historically, if there is a appointment, the appointment would cover the vacancy throughout the term of the individual. So in this case, Councilmember Rodriguez was completing his first term, so he still had 3 additional years left. However, the law has recently changed, and so what your appointment or your decision, even if it were the special election, it would be up until the following election cycle, which is November 2026. And so if you choose the route of appointing someone, we would just need direction on establishing a schedule for the applicants, direct the staff to advertise the vacant city council seat, and what the application deadline would be. We would schedule a time for council to interview the applicants, and such process does have to take place in an open forum, so it would have to be subject to the Brown Act. We would suggest that happen. We wrote on the staff report October 28th, but considering the time frame, I think that would be cutting it too short, most likely November. Reminder, in November, we just have one meeting because the second meeting does fall during Thanksgiving time. And then after council proceeds with interviews, you could make an appointment, or you may choose to continue the decision until December 9th meeting. One of the things I wanted to have you consider is if you appoint someone by the November 11th, then that would give my staff and myself enough time to onboard this individual, get them up to speed, and then they would be prepared for the December meeting that we have for the council reorganization. And it's a good time because things are not too hectic as if we were to do it at the beginning of next year. We have already an application that we used when Councilmember Larson passed and we had to be in this position. So there is an application already and staff has been working on taking a look at it. We would follow the same process similar to what we do with hiring someone. We post that it's an online application, they submit a resume, and then once we have all the applicants, then we would attach those to your council packet. You would have all the information, their background. We would redact, obviously, their personal information, and then you would have a set of questions which you would be asking in an open forum like this one. So that summarizes the staff report, and we're happy to answer any questions, and we're just seeking your direction.
Okay, thank you. Erika, I had one question just on this, the application procedure. Would council have those resumes and the application and whatever their answers are to the initial questionnaire only available at the release of the staff, available at the release of the agenda a few days prior, or would we get any of that information possibly with a few more days?
If I recall correctly, we release them at the same time that we release the agenda because the process is subject to the Brown Act.
Right.
Unless, Tiffany, you think we can provide those beforehand.
Well, are you talking about releasing it to the public or releasing it to council to study?
To council to study, just to if there was applications, if there was a few more days to look at.
If the timeline allows for things to be received soon enough, staff would be able to give it to you guys sooner.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Okay, sure. That's helpful. Okay.
And we would manage it similar to what we do with the commissioners. I think most of you have been involved in the process. We have a PDF, we save all the application, and then we send you like a OneDrive link where you can review everything.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's a good clarification there. Okay. All right. So, any more questions for Erika at this point? Okay, John, you've got.
Yeah, just a quick comment. So I'm in favor of doing interviews and an appointment. I think if we went through the cost and the trouble of going through an election, we'd be spending a lot of money to just have another election right almost immediately thereafter. So in my mind, it's pretty much a slam dunk in my mind. Obviously, you guys have your own opinions, but it seems to me that I would be in favor of going through the appointment process.
Yeah, I would agree with that, John. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I would be in agreement with that as well. And I remember when the last time we went through this, I think it worked out very well. It was I think, and much easier than going, and much less expensive, obviously, than going through the whole election.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you? Okay. Yeah. I think we're all in agreement that we would like to do the candidate process and not the special election.
So if we could talk more details then and establish a schedule for the applications. I had directed staff to start updating the application that we already had just to be proactive and ready. So I think we could probably post it by the end of this week. I just want to take my time and review it to make sure everything's been updated accordingly. So that would be the 17th. And did you want to leave it open for 1 week or 2 weeks? 2 weeks would take us through Halloween.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I think if we're not going to make that, we're not trying to make that October 28th date, then we should allow for 2 weeks. Okay, so take it to Halloween. Okay, that's a good date to remember.
And then we would be back on November 12th because the 11th is Veterans Day. So it would be that Wednesday instead of Tuesday.
Oh, for our council meeting.
For our council meeting.
Okay.
We'll try to keep the agenda light so that we have enough time to conduct the interviews, if that sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, and then again, just going back to the topic I brought in of having the applications to us a few days prior to even the release of the agenda, which would be, sorry, let's pick up my calendar for November. Okay, we'll be meeting on the 12th, so the agenda is likely to come out on the 7th.
We can have the
Okay.
applications to you by the 4th, which is election day.
Okay, so
So
giving us a week
We'll send you
prior.
the OneDrive, and then you can review those, and then
Okay.
that gives us enough time to my office and Tiffany's office to work together to
Okay.
finalize everything.
Okay, that date works for me. All right, council, are we all in agreement with the timeline? Yes, we are.
And we'll make sure to promote that on social media so that the public is aware, and we'll work with the Gazette as well so that they know that District 1 has a vacancy, and whoever's interested to please move forward and apply. And we'll have that ready, up and running by Friday.
Okay, great.
Do we need an actual motion, or is it sufficient to just give direction to staff? Sure.
Thanks.
So
All right.
I move that we go through the candidate process for an appointment to replace the resigning council member Rodriguez.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, and we have our timeline for that candidate procedure. All right, excellent. Okay, next business item is 9B, the approval of the proposal to design waterline and pavement improvements in Santa Clara Street and project specs 25-08. Okay, welcome, Joe. Good evening.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, City Council. This is a proposal to design the water line replacement in Santa Clara between Mountain View and the 126, and do a full pavement resurfacing on the project on that segment. This project is known as Project Specification 2508, and this is the starting point of this project at the design stage. So the existing water line, which was installed in 1955, is undersized and currently is undersized for the current demand, and it needs replacement. The project will include the design of the water line with gate valves, fire hydrant assemblies, service connections, meter boxes, and then the full width pavement reconstruction. The work will be performed under the city's existing contract services agreement with Wildan Engineering. The attached design proposal serves as a formal task order outlining the scope of work, timeline, and cost of the project. The fiscal impact, the design with the option for potholing, which I recommend that we do at this phase, is for $75,050. The current fiscal year budget, 25-26, has $223,600 for design, construction management, and inspection for the project. So no additional allocation is needed at this point. The construction funding will be included in the 26-27 budget. That concludes this report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have any questions, but
Well, use your mic.
this is long awaited and make a lot of residents very, very happy that once we get this done. And thank you for all your hard work.
I agree with that, and I feel like we need to celebrate
Yeah.
when it's done. Maybe we can do
Yeah.
like a short
ribbon
parade,
cutting.
a parade down the road there, something to,
Yeah, thanks to Roxanne, we're working through those last bit of bad segments in the city. So
Great.
It'll take us a couple of years, but we'll get them weeded out.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, nothing for me. Looks
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
Thanks for your work.
I had one question, and that was, I know it goes to Highway 126, but over on B Street, I know there's been potholes and there's a kind of an area, but it's so close to the highway, it's had to be postponed a little bit to get in with Caltrans. Is there anything similar here with kind of running right into the highway?
The current fiscal year has 1.5 for construction of the next resurfacing project. So that is something that we said we'd take a look at.
Okay.
I'm aware of the location you're speaking of.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've been kind of looking at those intersections onto the 126 where we feel like there's some improvements that need to be made.
Okay.
It takes coordination, permitting, stuff like that. So it's not, an easy to do, isolated, go get it done kind of project.
Right. Okay. All right. All right. With that, that's all the question I had. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the City Council approve Wildown Engineering's proposal to design water line and pavement improvements on Santa Clara Street between Mountain View Street and State Route 126, known as Project Specification Number 25-0A, as detailed in the attached proposal.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second? I'll second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right. Yes, everyone will be jumping for joy. Okay. Sorry, let me get my agenda. Okay. On to our next business item, and that is the consideration of the First Amendment to Contract Services Agreement with SoCal Water Pros for the Cross Connection Control Program and Backflow Prevention Assemblies Management.
Okay, thank you. So as a reminder, we entered into a multi-year agreement with the SoCal Water back in June 10th of this year. They're helping us transition off of the county's program since they were doing the whole cross-connection control program and backflow assembly testing, tracking and everything. We're transitioning off of that and taking on that program. It was a forced arrangement, but it's actually turning out to be a very beneficial thing that we're doing this. It allows us to safeguard our own water system rather than relying on the county's process. And I've identified several areas of improvement to what the county was doing where we could do locally and do it better. SoCal Water, this is an easy amendment. It's just recognizing a name change that they currently went under. On October 5th, I think, is when we were notified of the name change, and that was going to be taking effect the next day. It was only a couple days that we were notified of the name change. So we, thanks to the city attorney's office, we quickly scrambled and put together this amendment for you all. This just recognizes the firm's name change. Officially. So the recommendation is that you approve this First Amendment. That's just a reflection of the corporate's new name.
Okay, thank you.
Need a motion?
I need a motion.
I move that the City Council approve the First Amendment to the Contract Service Agreement for Cross Connection Control Program and Backflow Prevention Assemblies Management with SoCal Water Pro.
Okay, can I get a second?
I will second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Okay, our next business item, the adoption of plan specifications and cost estimate for the project specification number 25-10 and consideration of awarding the contract to C&W Construction Specialties Incorporated. This is for our A Street guardrail repair. All right.
Yeah. So this one's a little bit embarrassing on how long it's taken us to get to this point, but it's for a good reason. We wanted to do it the right way, which called for the design team at Wilda Engineering to take a look at current requirements and put together a design that meets the compliance with today's standards. Staff informally bid this project under the Fillmore Municipal Code 540. And we received 2 bids back. C&W Construction Specialties was the lowest at $27,037.10. We're recommending a contingency of 20%, which brings the total amount not to exceed, if the contingency is needed, to $32,444.52. This is a current, this is budgeted under the current fiscal year's 25-26 budget, and no additional funding allocation is needed. That concludes this report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions?
We do not.
Okay.
Motion?
No, yeah, no questions. Just a comment, and I just want to reiterate this. I'm always really glad to see about how staff have verified the low bid proposal, and I love that you clearly line that out. And it's really good for our public to always know about how we have a very stringent bid proposal, and we're following all those rules. So appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, I'll make a question.
I move that the city council adopt the plan specifications and estimate for the A Street Guardrail Repair Project known as project specification number 25-10 and approve the award of contract to CNW Construction Specialties for the construction of the project in the amount of $27,037.10 plus 20% contingency, and authorize the Public Works Director to approve construction change orders up to the contingency amount of $5,407.42 as recommended, and approve the construction manager or city engineer.
Okay, thank you. And to have a second. Second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right. Joe's staying up there. Okay. Our next item is 9E, the approval of the reallocation and consideration of awarding the contract to General Pump Company for urgent repairs to well number 8.
Thank you. That is the recommendation. The amount of this is going to be $148,134.93. We're asking for a 10% contingency on this one. These things are pretty well thought out, and I don't expect contingencies to be necessary, but there could arise something that we didn't anticipate, and so that's the point of the 10%. So the total contract not to exceed is $162,948.42. This is not a budgeted repair. The extent of the damage was known when we pulled the well in May of this year, and I have some pictures of it. This was obviously after the budgeting process had occurred, so this we didn't have the time to put that in the budget. In fact, I think the budget was approved a few days before we actually knew about this problem. So as you'll see in this picture, let me see if I can get another. So this is what when we pulled the well. So background here, we didn't anticipate this happening. This pipe was installed in 2021, and this was an aggressive bacteria that attached to that column pipe. And it's a mild steel column pipe. And it just ate through it, and that was that other picture showing the pitting, the deep pitting that had occurred. So at that time, since this wasn't a budgeted project, we wanted to put a pause on it. We knew we were going to be pulling the well again to re-TV the well after the neighboring development was done with this heavy machinery movement, and verify that there was no problems with the well. So we felt like we had time to go through the mid-year budget process, get that the appropriate budget allocated to the project, and we take it from there. Earlier this month, we started receiving inquiries about cloudy water, and one, not too much of a concern. We do have cloudy water in Fillmore. It's part of our process, but this it appeared like it was getting significant, and then we got other complaints, and so we did the investigation. It took us a little bit to figure out what was going on, and it turned out that it was well 8. We pulled samples, and it was significantly cloudy coming out of well 8. So immediately my mind went to this issue, and whenever a hole like that can go all the way through the column pipe, you introduce this possible jetting effect that could destroy the liner within the well. And when we did the well project in 2021, we put in a really expensive stainless steel liner. So that's something that we really wanted to protect. We immediately shut down the well, and it hasn't been operational since we discovered the air entrainment problem. And we used the city's informal bid process and sought out bids from General Pump Company and Barber Well. And, I'd like to acknowledge Barber Well's cost. It was only a couple thousand under. A couple thousand in a competitive bidding process means everything. But they're a great company, and we would have easily gone with them. General Pump not only was a couple grand under, but they had quicker turnaround time. So they were committing to a 4-day, 4 working days to get this project turned around for us. So based upon tonight's action, they're actually advance ordering some supply, while we go through the agreements and everything else. So we have it ready when we issue the NTP, then come out and install everything immediately. And again, we're in a situation right now where we don't have well 5. And with well 8 down, we're surviving on 7. And 7 currently has a chlorination issue. Nothing to be concerned about, but we're spending a lot of overtime hours having somebody go and checking the chlorination levels at the well every 2 hours that it's operational. So this is becoming a significant issue and something that's is costly every time we, or any further delay in getting this project underway. So we're recommending that in order to fund this project, that we set aside the painting of the reservoir, which was budgeted at $150,000. That was for the outside. We would like to just combine the outside when we do the inside, and that's going to be a couple $100,000. So we're fine. We can survive without painting that. It's not a regulatory requirement at this point. There's no big sign of rusting or something like that that would cause a regulatory issue for us. In addition to the $150,000 that was budgeted for that project, we're also requesting an allocation of the balance of what the General Pump's estimate was, plus the 10% contingency, that we have a remaining balance of $12,948.42 that we're asking to come out of the Water Reserve Fund 504. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Do we have any questions?
Just a comment. Some of those pictures, you could hardly tell it was pipe. It looked more like dirt fields, really.
It was completely unanticipated. The good thing about what we requested, HLS pipe. I talked about HLS when we were talking about redoing 7, well 7. HLS is a high alloy, low carbon steel type pipe. So it should stand up to this kind of bacterial growth pretty well. In addition to that, once this pipe is pulled, I'm going to take a sample, and there's a lab on the East Coast that can tell us what particular bacteria strain this is and what kind of treatment we can do inside the well that will kill it.
Oh, that's
or
good.
Retard its advance.
Is this sulfur-reducing bacteria? Do you know? SRB?
I don't know. I know it's a ferrous type. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you answered by saying that you answered my question, which was you mentioned a couple of times about the cascading water, that was, and so I thought, well, how do we, what do you do to stop cascading water? But no, you find the right type of metal to withstand it and whatever kind of bacteria may be in it.
Cascading water is typical around this time of year. Our aquifer is really low right now.
Mm-hmm.
We got great rain. I don't think it's going to make a dent in our aquifer at this point, but once the groundwater level comes back up, the cascading water will definitely not be the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a strong indication that something more than just is going on down there. Maybe it's just cascading water from a low aquifer. If that's the case, we're okay, you know.
Right. Okay. All right. Yes, Carrie.
Yeah, whenever the issue of the wells come up, it's maybe because I'm so ignorant on the whole topic, but I always have technical questions. And so just out of curiosity, for my own benefit, when you're talking about well number 8 was taken offline since the entrained air could have also been caused by the deep pitting observed in May. What does deep pitting mean?
Oh, that's this.
So the pitting on the pipe right there?
That pitting, yeah, the concern would be that it ate all the way through and caused a hole. And when it causes a hole, it can cause a jet, and the jet could destroy the liner of our well. And if it destroys the liner, that's the same thing happened with 5. We lose all of our filter pack. It gets sucked in and sucked out of the well. And at that point, we've just lost it. Sometimes, if we're lucky, we can put a patch over the damaged section of screen. And then we can go in and try to restore that filter pack that was lost. But it happened to well 5 in such a way that it just completely destroyed the well from a jet that had occurred. So that's why we took well 8 down. It's, you know, it's vital that we keep all of our wells running really well, and we only have 2 at this point. So it's super critical that we very cautiously proceed when we get an issue like this, even if it might be something so simple.
Okay. Then the other question I had, and I don't know if we could arrange this or not, but I would love to go on a well tour.
Yeah,
I would love to.
I would, yeah. I mean, seriously, we talk about wells so often and it's so significant to the city of Fillmore.
It's a big thing.
It's our water source. I'm not even sure where they are, let alone what they look like on the outside, or, you know, I'd love to do that.
I have a whole cycle of water that we go through on this tour, where we track it from pulling it out of the ground, then it goes to the treatment plant after it's been used and put back into our recycled water line. So there's a whole cycle that it goes through.
Oh,
We'll make sure to arrange that.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'd love to do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mandy gives me the thumbs up.
All right. Excellent. Okay. All right. Great. We're gonna arrange for that for us to get, you said, more knowledgeable and to really, when Joe's speaking, like you said, we'll get it. That's what he means by that. Okay. Thank you for your presentation. All right. If there's no further questions or comments, then I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the reallocation of $150,000 from fiscal year 25-26 budget line item 453-6850-0044-336 for well reservoir painting to line item 453-6850-0046-645 well number 8 pipe replacement. That we approve an allocation of $12,948.42 from Water Reserve Fund 504 to line item 453-6850-0046-645 well number 8 pipe replacement. That we approve the award of the contract to General Pump Company for urgent repairs to well number 8 in the amount of $148,134.93 plus a 10% contingency, and authorize the Public Works Director to approve construction change orders up to the contingency amount of $14,813.49.
Okay. Thank you. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Okay. I think this is our last business item, and that is, it's a public hearing. Consideration of zoning ordinance amendment 25-01, ordinance 25-984, updating the Fillmore Municipal Code, bless you, to comply with the state laws regarding accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, and finding the exemption from CEQA. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council, City of Fillmore. This is the latest ADU ordinance update. Zoning text amendment 2501. This was through 2 planning commission hearings in July and August. We did some edits and got it fine-tuned, and we're back to you now, the planning commission's recommendations for approval. The background on this is the Fillmore Municipal Code provides regulations for ADUs, and this section was most recently updated back in 2020. So this update brings it all current to today's standards of laws that are already in effect. We are required to keep it updated per the state law, and if it falls behind, we just defer to the state law as we manage these. It makes specific updates, as I just said, and I have a short summary of those here. I can run through those. It's Fillmore Section 6.04.0415 2R. And the ordinance will provide this summary. It includes current references to the government code sections. It clarifies the maximum size for an ADU, an attached ADU. It adds a new subsection related to non-conforming conditions and health and safety standards. So we will correct health and safety standards, but not just other garden variety violations. It requires undergrounding of utility service lines that are running into the building. It specifies new height allowances, so some of those have changed. It was previously, I believe, 17 feet, and now you'll have 18 feet and up to 25 feet. It provides some basic landscaping standards. That was a part that was put in through the Planning Commission process. It eliminates the requirement for owner occupancy of either the primary home or a detached ADU. Well, that does remain in effect for a junior ADU. It clarifies that an expansion of an area only applies to an ADU. This is for the interior entrances. So 150 feet could be expanded. Clarifies owner occupancy is required for the junior ADU, as I just mentioned. Provides height restrictions. And it clarifies what an expansion of a JADU is limited to ingress and egress. It clarifies that existing multifamily developments can add detached ADUs up to the number of multifamily units on the property to a maximum of 8. It provides construction of an ADU shall not require fire sprinklers to be installed in a multifamily structure. And just in background, if a property does have fire sprinklers on the primary unit, you're required to put them in the accessory dwelling unit as well. It also refined some of the definitions. So accessory dwelling unit definitions were made consistent throughout, and it defines tandem parking and what's considered livable space. And the project is exempt from CEQA. It's basically just allowing for additional units within pre-existing residential zones. If the council adopts this ordinance after the second reading, we will send it up to the State Housing and Community Development Department, and they'll review it for 30 days. And if they have any comments, they'll send it back to us. And then we either have to, if there's revisions, we'll have to revise the ordinance or bring it back to you, or state why, we're not adopting whatever changes they may request. So, but we think it complies with state law. So Planning Commission's made a recommendation for approval. So the recommendation is to open and conduct a public hearing, approve this first reading of the ordinance. We'll bring it back next time for the second reading, and a finding of exemption from CEQA. And I'll just read a quick summary here of the ordinance. It's an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fillmore, California, amending sections 6.04.0415 and 6.04.9610 of the Fillmore Municipal Code to update the city's zoning ordinance to comply with state laws regarding accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, and a finding of exemption from CEQA. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian.
Sure.
Do we have any questions, council members? No. Okay, so that being so, I will open the public hearing and inquire if there are any public comments. I haven't received any on this agenda item. Over, there's nothing. Okay. Yeah. I will now close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion regarding this ordinance.
Okay.
It's the last one.
Sure. I move that that we approve the first reading to introduce ordinance, since we already had the public hearing. Approve the first reading to introduce ordinance number 25-984, approving ZOA 25-01 and finding of exemption from CEQA. An ordinance of the City of Council of the City of Fillmore, California, amending sections 6.04-0415 and 6.04.9610 of the Fillmore Municipal Code to update the city's zoning ordinance to comply with state laws regarding accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, and finding of exemption from CEQA.
Thank you very much. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. All right, that concludes our business items. Our next agenda item is our city manager's verbal report.
Thank you, Mayor. I first want to take a moment to thank all of our wonderful staff for their hard work and dedication. Thank you for moving everything forward while I was on maternity leave. I'm truly grateful for each and one of you, and thank you again. It feels really good to be back, to continue working along your side to move forward your council goals and working for our great community. Tonight, I would like to provide you with a traffic safety update. Our police department continues to focus on traffic safety through both enforcement and education. We've been partnering with motor units from Thousand Oaks and Camarillo PD for high visibility enforcement along the 126 and major cross streets, targeting speeding and signal violations. We've also deployed electronic reading boards in different areas of the community to deter speeding. Fillmore PD was also awarded $54,132 from the Office of Traffic Safety this year. Between October of 2024 and September of 2025, officers have conducted multiple operations, including 1 DUI checkpoint, 8 DUI saturation patrols. There have been several targeted enforcement efforts, and so far these have resulted in multiple arrests, over 50 citations, and most importantly, safety education outreach at the middle school, where 69 students learned about e-bike loss and safety. Now, moving along with the community development updates, you may have noticed that about 1 mile of the bike path asphalt at the Bridges subdivision has been poured, and it's now hydroseeded along the levee. Although it looks like it's completed, construction will still continue with fencing and decomposed granite still pending. And the full project, including benches and river viewing areas, is expected to be completed by February of next year. So fingers crossed that that will happen. Creekside project in North Fillmore. You're aware that the grading continues. We also acknowledge that residents have concerns about, dust, vibration, and noise, but we continue to monitor that, and staff is aware of it. So we're making sure that we continue to work with the developer to minimize the impacts, and we thank the community for your patience during this time. Also, this week you will be receiving a notice regarding the update our building code. So please pay attention to that notice that is coming to you. Every so often we are required to update the building code, and so it's providing you with notice that there will be a hearing on the upcoming meeting on October 28th, and then hopefully an adoption of a new code by the November 12th meeting. Regular city updates and events. We currently have a facility maintenance worker position open, and that's open through October 31st. So if you're interested in joining a great team of individuals, please apply. Also, like the mayor mentioned, we will be having the Immigration Resource Forum this Thursday, starting at 6 p.m. We hope to see you here. And Trunk or Treat returns this year, not on October 31st, because there were concerns from the community that we were taking away, the Halloween celebration. So council heard your concerns, and this year is on October 29th, still on Central Avenue. We're still returning with the sensory-friendly hour from 5 to 6 p.m., and the main event will be from 6 to 8 p.m., and we hope to see you there. And lastly, staff continues to work on the Encampment Resolution Fund grant. There's agreements that are being finalized and to further continue the homeless effort. So that concludes my update. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Erika. And yes,
I just want to say one thing before we close. I just want to thank our wonderful first responders and our sheriffs. You guys do so much for our community and keep us safe. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And thank you, Erika. And welcome back. We're so glad to have you back. And I also want to give another thank you to Manuel for just an amazing job stepping in right away. You were wonderful. So
Nothing like trial by fire, right?
that's what I was going to say.
Thank you.
But thank you for all your efforts. Okay, anything else? All right. If not, I'm looking over. We do not have a closed session today. All right, so I will adjourn this meeting to our next regularly scheduled meeting at 6:30 on Tuesday, October 28th. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.